Hey,
How you doing?
good. How are you?
Good. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been real good. Yeah. How you been?
Good. Excellent. I noticed that you've got some explosion in your garden, man. The stuff I see on Facebook is
Oh,
unreal.
yeah. It's a little bit too much. So I went in thinking we would have some really cool things to make. I actually really just wanted to make jalapeno poppers, and I've made I think about 3 batches of those. And I kid you not, jalapenos. I learned a little bit about them. They are they're like a diet food. They actually help you lose weight.
Yeah, and they're rich in vitamin
Surprisingly.
C, correct?
Yeah, I didn't know I had nothing to do with gardens. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know about vegetables. I just said, we'll make a garden this year.
Yeah, and you're doing jelly, right? Didn't you make a jalapeno jelly? Is that correct? Right.
Yeah, jalapeno jelly. We made peach butter. We made buttered pickles, salsa. We were going to try some cucumber salsa. So just a wide variety of things.
The other thing I noticed was strawberry chips. Was interesting.
Yeah, we have blackberry, white grape, and strawberry, but those plants take 3 or 4 years before they actually start to yield a lot. So we're just waiting on that. Got them set up. I got to do something with strawberries because they're taking over a tomato plant.
Right.
They're kind of like twining over and trying to get into that ground. So I got to build a box around it for next year. Hopefully we'll have some really good strawberries.
We're growing pumpkins here, so that's a lot of fun.
I wanted to plant pumpkins, and I started reading about pumpkins, and you got to put them out in like July or something like that.
Yeah, and they destroy the yard too. They destroy the yard. They really, well, they're a vine plant. They coil around if you can get them to do that, but anything close to them will get destroyed. Any corn, tomatoes, peppers, you name it.
Wow. Yeah, I learned that. You got to be really careful about space.
Yeah, I seem to fail at that every year. We plant too much, probably.
Yeah. Well, pumpkin is one of my favorite, pumpkin pie. A lot of people would do the like squash pie or the other
sweet potato
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, give me the real stuff.
Right. Yeah, I have some in the fridge right now, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hey, you're a director, you're a writer, a videographer, and an editor. What else do you like to spend your time doing besides, as we mentioned, gardening?
Gardening. You know what? I was just thinking about that before our call, and I think it's hard. That's a hard question to answer, and I think the biggest thing is that I've been subjected to a lot of different parts of media through my work career that it's just created a little monster in me, and sometimes I have to kind of jump out and work on something to just kind of keep that skill level where it needs to be, and to stay fresh.
Yeah.
And now that I'm teaching a lot more, it's not as easy for me to say go to like Kentucky for a film job or trek down to Florida for something during the year. So it's one of those things where I'm getting a little bit older and I'm getting a little bit more away from I'll just call it the trench of those jobs. But I always find a passion in trying to find and help others become multiverse like that as well. And it's just something that I think it all happened by accident. You don't run into somebody that can do and handle all of those things at once. And it's just one of those things where I was in the right place at the right time, I think. And going back to the film stuff, when I was a kid, I wanted to work in LA. I wanted to be on movie sets, and I didn't care what it was. I was so ecstatic just to be a part of a film. And that's one of the biggest conglomerations of individuals with multi-skills working together. And I think that's kind of like the highest point of, say you work at a radio station. Well, a lot of people in a radio station are designed to work a certain way. And then you work at a TV station. They're designed to work a certain way. And then you have your departments and all that stuff. Well, the film world is the same kind of structure, but you're bringing all of those elements and you're putting them into this one production, and you're trying to make something together with all of these individuals. And that, to me, is really what's so cool about it, is I'm part of this team. Even if I'm sweeping the floors, I'm excited to be there. I think that's what it is. It's just, that's the excitement for me.
Yeah, and to get something that does well is also important. But even if it doesn't do well, there's so much out there. There's so much substance that as long as you knew that you did your best at it, and it's a good film, and you could watch it over again, that's all you're looking for. But I love what you're talking about, because you bring the music in, and then some movies have really great animation scenes, and just all that together is exciting. That's why we go to the movie theaters. Maybe not so much right now, but yeah.
I hope it comes back.
Oh yeah, me too. What inspired you to write Time Ripple? I know we've talked about it before, but I wanted the audience to get a background of this book.
Yeah, it was a dream or a nightmare, one or the other. I was sick. I had the flu. This was 8-9 years ago, I think, something like that. I cannot sleep when I'm on the Allegra D. So the Allegra D was also to assist with allergy issues that I have.
I've been on it.
And yeah, it really keeps you up. And so once I got better, I was able to sleep. And as we all know, Allegra is got a small dosage of, I forget what it is, but it's a hallucinogen. So I think that running through my system, I dreamt this. It was just a weird, crazy dream, and I woke up and I started writing notes down with it. And then when my friend in Florida woke up, this is 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I had to tell him about it immediately. And he was like, whoa. He was like, Jesus, you need to write this down and make it into a script. And, back then I was really heavy into script writing. And so it took about a week. I wrote the script in a week. Maybe like a Monday to, I don't know, Saturday or something like that. And I remember even going to work, and I had a little office up there at ICB, and I had a little little whiteboard, and I was noting things out on the whiteboard while I was writing the scenes. And the first person to ever read it was Jim Stringfield. When I was done, to completely unedit it. Just, he said, yeah. I was telling him about it. He said, okay, yeah, I'll read it when you get done. And I gave it to him by the start of the next week, and he was like, is it done? And I said, yeah, Jim, it's done. And he was like, you're kidding me. And so he read it, and he had the same kind of response. He was just like, as my friend in Florida, he's like, this is crazy. He says, you've got this weird gift. I don't know what it is, but and I told him that it was a hallucination that I had it was either a dream or, some type of a cognitive thing that just wouldn't leave for a week. And then, I just kind of decided to try to pitch it in LA. And we got with this this company. I'm trying to remember their name, but they said we don't like the ending. And so then I got my friend Richard, and my friend Richard is an idea person, just idea. And so his involvement with the book, or with the script, sorry, at that point, with the script just kind of made it even more impactful in certain places. So we rewrote it, and they more or less said, well, this is just too expensive for us. I was like, all right, that's fine. And then I didn't do anything with it. Then a film company came to Middletown, and they were out here by the Land of Illusion. And it was, what was it called? Funhouse Massacre. And I got to work in the creative arts department, basically building sets and stuff like that for the film. And I surfaced the script back up again, and I gave it to the director and her boyfriend. He was in charge of the creative arts department, and they read it, and they said, "Wow, this is pretty good." And they both agreed that it'd make a good movie. But then we started talking about the climax of the movie, of the story, and it was at least $800,000 just to put together that scene towards the end of the movie at that time. So then I was like, there's no way I can raise that kind of money, and I just didn't have that persuasion in Hollywood. So again, I just let it sit, and then after a lot of scripts, me and Richard, we write scripts every Sunday for at least a couple hours. We've been doing this for 5 years at Kroger's here in Middletown. It's the strangest place for us to meet, but we decided we had a couple more little run-ins, some possible theft with some creative content of ours, and we decided to just switch everything over to books. And we decided to start with a time ripple, because that was something that we worked on together, the first thing that we worked on together. And it took me a year to write it, edit it. We got an editor to get it back to us in about, I think, 3 or 4 months. And then we went through and edited it again, and then put it out for release through Amazon, which I didn't know anything about books. My brother, he's written 3 or 4 books, and I turned to him for some advice, and he told me, he says, you just don't do this. He says, this is really bad. My brother is just kind of more of a grammatical writer, not a script writer, and I even say this to a lot of people that are, grammatical advanced writers trying to make their stuff into a script. It's like, this isn't going to work.
Right.
So it was kind of like that same thing, but it was flipped. It was a different world for me. I was actually going the opposite way, and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to make this happen. And I just went over each sentence, and it took me about a year. We released it in August last year. This August makes its first year out, Time Ripple Volume 1. Mm-hmm. So it's been kind of a journey. It's a little bit of a process, but everywhere we would take the book, it would at least sell 4 copies. And we went to these book fairs to help kind of promote it. And nobody was selling hardly any books, that would sell 1 book or maybe 2 books. We sold 4 all the time. And I started to realize that was a pattern. You go to the book fair, not a lot of people go to book fairs, right. Which was kind of disappointing to learn that. But the other writers would, come up and buy a book, or, you buy other writers' books. So I said, well, there really is something here. And so me and Richard decided to keep promoting it. And it has sold over 1,000 copies. I think it was 1,023 last time I checked between Amazon and hand-to-hand sales, and it's kind of amazing to think that it's sold that much from just being a dream, really. No,
that's excellent. It reminds me of, like, I could be wrong about this. I've described it in this way to you before. A Total Recall meets like Inception. Is that?
It's sort of like that, yeah. I've had someone else. I did an interview a while back, and someone else had kind of described it the same way. It's obviously a futuristic dystopia, but the Total Recall part of it is it's not as advanced. It's basically already a broken down society.
Okay.
So, but it has that same structure. Yeah.
And sci-fi has hit it really big here in the last 10 years. I would even say maybe the last 15, 20 years. But that's like Stranger Things, for example. I've already mentioned Inception. They remade Total Recall. That movie still does well, even the original. So I like where you're going. I think that I would really be excited to see it into a TV series, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know if it's got enough. Well, it probably would have enough to stretch across a TV series. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, there's 2 volumes. Volume 2 just came out a couple weeks ago. Me and Richard were talking about a secret 3rd volume possibly, but we built it in, but we didn't necessarily plan to write a 3rd book.
Okay.
But it does have that length. It does have that ability, because there's a lot of side stories that could be taken up off of it. Yeah. And I just released a big secret. I can't believe I just said that.
No, that's awesome. That's cool.